A lot of people are starting to believe that something major is going to happen in our world that's directly correlated with the solar eclipse coming up in April. This started after reports began circulating that extensive measures will be taken prior to the solar eclipse, including school closures, the National Guard being deployed in some counties, and officials in Texas warning people to stock up prior to the event. And even though most of these measures are being taken in preparation for the large crowd that the solar eclipse will draw in, this has not stopped people from believing that some of these measures are a bit extreme and coming up with theories that something more is happening on the day than we're being told. Theories range from some people believing that the US will get hit with a solar storm knocking out the power grid or internet, to others believing that the world is about to go through 3 days of complete darkness and then enter a new age. Now obviously we won't know for sure if anything will happen until the day of the solar eclipse, but I did find something interesting that a lot of people aren't talking about. According to scientists, a solar maximum is also supposed to take place this year, which means that the sun will be at a heightened level of activity and its poles will shift. This heightened level of activity could lead to solar flares or storms that may hit Earth's electromagnetic field and lead to power outages. There was even a solar flare last week that caused a radio blackout, but maybe it's all just a coincidence. Leave a like and let me know what you think about this in the comments.
Solar eclipse coming up, but it's not like all the other ones. This is something very unique and rare, and maybe overwhelming for some people. This eclipse is something you may never see again. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It will be a long time before the moon covers completely the face of the sun again, making us go dark here in central New York. This is what makes this year's total solar eclipse such an incredible and unique event. The director of the Syracuse Astronomical Society says that in less than 30 days, history will be made. Some are still wondering what all the hype's about. So let me tell you what's going to happen during the total solar eclipse. We've had other eclipses before, but the total solar eclipses are very, very rare. It's very hard for a total solar eclipse to hit. The next time it's going to be around central New York is going to be in 2079. It's 55 years from now, and that's why it's a once-in-a-lifetime event for many. Many people can get overwhelmed by it. But why? So the landscape changes. It starts to get dark all around you. Birds will start singing that weren't before. And it gets colder very, very fast. In fact, it's going to be much colder when the sun is totally blocked out. Astronomers always say that you want a totality of an eclipse. If not, you miss the whole entire experience. And these are the latest updates from the Syracuse Astronomical Society.
Okay, there's definitely more to this story. I live in Texas, in a direct path of this eclipse. In the last eclipse, no one even showed up back in October. There were a few people on the highways. They expected large crowds. Nothing happened. No big deal. The city wasn't planning for anything. Now they've declared a state of emergency. And this is the bulletin the city is sending out to the residents to prepare for the April 8th eclipse. Tell me how this makes any sense. We had an eclipse in October, and nothing serious happened. Hardly anyone showed up, but this time they've declared a state of emergency, and this is how they want us to prepare. I've also heard of counties in Oklahoma bringing in National Guard for a celestial event. Why would we not have cell service for days on end? Why would we need to supply food and water and gasoline? Why would we expect the 911 services to be done? None of this makes any sense for a normal natural event. There's something serious that they know about, they're trying to warn us about, without telling us about, in my opinion.
Yeah. What is that being eclipsed right there? Somebody tell me. Because right above that is the moon. Right here. That's the moon right there. So it ain't the moon being eclipsed. It's something out in the sky being eclipsed that is here. Everything is here right now. And y'all can keep playing. I know you Christians are listening to me.
Please listen to this, you guys. This is very important. Listen up, y'all.
So the 2017-2024 solar eclipse, a lot of people should know this by now. If you don't, then I'm guessing this is your date of you finding out about this. So the coincision of this eclipse pass is here in southern Illinois, also known as Carbondale, also known as Little Egypt. And this X right here is actually not the 2017-2024 total solar eclipse pass, but it's actually two fault line cracks that is going across America. 1,700 miles one way, 1,600 miles the other way, and the coincision is, as you can see, it's the same, precisely the same location. X marks the spot. And that area just happens to be the New Madrid seismic zone. I showed this map already, and I'll just show it again for context. The New Madrid seismic zone is known for three great eclipses, and it's also, three great earthquakes, and it's also known as one of the most biggest dangers to America. This is a map from USGS, and as you can see, talking about the highest hazards and lowest hazards, this is the bar, this is the meter, all right? And as you can see right here, where the X marks the spot, simultaneously with the eclipse and the earthquakes, the activity is very, very high, and threat level and danger level is very, very high. So this is an Exodus sign. An Exodus sign. This is a sign of an Exodus, a physical, spiritual, mental awakening, and Exodus out of the system, and it's also a prophetic sign for a people. Book reference. The intersection of these two fault lines create an X at the New Madrid seismic zone, located in Missouri, just an hour-and-a-half drive or 30-minute flight from Carbondale, known as Little Egypt. What's particularly unsettling is the striking resemblance between the map of the seismic cracks and the paths of totality observed in the solar eclipse. The correlation in the paths and locations might invoke a sense of awe or terror, depending on one's perspective. It invites contemplation on the possible means or connection these natural phenomena might hold. And you can see the striking resemblance in Forbes magazine Doomsday Map or Doomsday Crack, because this would be the precise location of X marks the spot. The unsettling parallels between the seismic crack and the path of totality are not lost on those who study them. Yet, the lack of public warning from scientists or authorities are baffling. It calls to mind scenes from disasters, movies like 2012, where the government concealed imminent catastrophic to avert panic. Could we be living in such scenario? Have those in power suspected a looming threat and chosen silence over alarm? These questions linger, leaving us to ponder the cryptic message that nature seems to be signaling, and wonder if humanity is truly ready to face whatever may be coming. Now we see where Forbes get their prediction from. But trust me, it's way much more deeper than you think. This is an Exodus sign for a chosen people, for the people, for humanity, for the world.
Oh, no one's going to talk about how CERN is starting back up on April 8th?
Of course they are. Of course they are. Of course they are firing up the portal machine on April 8th. Like why would they pick any other day? Like why would they pick the 7th or the 9th or the 10th or the 11th or the 12th or the 13th? No, of course it's going to be on April 8th when we have the solar eclipse and everything else is on that day. Like, of course, CERN, the area, the Hadron Collider that is literally trying to create black holes, trying to find the God particle, having the statue of Shiva with a portal around her out front of their facility. Of course, April 8th, black hole sun. Yeah. I can't anymore, guys. I can't. I can't do it. Like, I'm so used to, oh, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. All these date setters, nothing's going to happen. And, like, I'm still expecting nothing to happen because I've become so calloused and apathetic to everything in this world because all these dates, but like, look what happened like yesterday, this morning. Bridge collapses because a cargo ship blacks out. There you go. Power outage, which we've seen that. Predictive programming, right, with the power outages and blackouts and everything. So there you go. And then a bridge collapses. Now everyone has to go to Virginia for a port. And so that sets that up for stuff. Who knows what's going to happen over there? I'm just rambling right now because I can't do it. I can't do it. Every day, something new. Every day. We'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, look more into CERN. It's fun little deep dive rabbit hole. Yeah, but with that, guys, we focus on the Lord, all right? We focus on the Lord. With all of this craziness going on, the Lord will provide. The Lord will guide you. So you need to cling to him. With all of this information, they are bombarding us. Satan is overwhelming us with information and conspiracies, and we allow the Holy Spirit to guide us to all truth, to discern truth from lies, and to guide us and to keep us calm. And I'm not doing a good job of that right now because I'm not staying that calm, but
you really are.
I'll try to focus on that. Love you guys all so much. God bless, and remember, the just shall live by faith.
Do you see demons? Because they're talking about a condition where you can see demon faces in normal people's faces. Well, guys, I found something crazy with this. I'm going to show you a quick video of explanation with it, but stick around for the end part because it's literally mind-boggling.
The weird stuff I love. Imagine your vision is totally normal, and then one day you see demonic features everywhere on people only, just like this, what you see behind me. Now that's a reality for a man named Victor Shera. He has extremely rare yet terrifying disorder called PMO, and it's commonly known as, or now known because people didn't know about it at first. It's called the demon face syndrome.
All right, stick with me because this is going to sound crazy, but I literally think they made up this condition. So when the eclipse comes and hits us with some sort of positive energy, and we literally get our powers back, and we can see the demons and tell who's a demon and who's not, they want us to just think we have this condition. But here's the even crazier part. Remember the guy's name who they said has this condition? Victor Shara? Well, I plugged that name into the Gematria calculator. There it is right there. Victor Shara gives a value of 1210. Now, watch what I found. Tell me if any of these stick out to you. A few of them stick out to me. Specifically, this one. But that's not the one I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about. If you watch any of my things, you know I like to talk about how they tell us and they put things in plain sight. Well, that wasn't as much in plain sight. I had to dig for it a little, but I literally thought something like that is what I would find, and it was right there. I don't know, guys. I think something big is coming. I really do. And I just have to say this, but of course this was all for entertainment purposes. I didn't mean a word I said.
Now, but the amazing thing is people don't know. The solar eclipse is happening on the very same day as the original plagues of the 3 days of darkness began.
No!
Yes.
Okay,
it's on the very same day.
This one we're going to have.
April 8th is the very day of the 3 days of darkness plagues began in the
in the land
original
of Egypt.
Exodus. Yes.
Unbelievable. Is this a warning then? Is God's? It's going. We got the Nineveh and the Jonah towns going through, but I mean, what kind of warning is this?
Great question. Here's the thing. In Genesis 1:14, God declared the sun and the moon were for signs.
Right.
The only signs they can give is eclipses. All right. And the nice thing about eclipses, no false prophet can manipulate it.
No.
Okay. And they speak to every language, tribe, nation, and tongue.
Yep.
They don't need to be translated.
Nope.
Solar eclipse means judgment is coming upon a nation. Lunar eclipse refers to judgment coming upon Israel.
Okay.
Now, get a load of this. There has only been, since we become a nation in 1776, there has only been 8 total solar eclipses that have completely crossed the United States. I'm not talking about one that just clips California or Florida. I'm talking that traverses the whole United States horizontally or vertically. There's only been 8 since we became a nation.
Wow.
And guess when they occurred? 2 of them occurred during the Revolutionary War. 3 of them occurred during the Civil War. 2 of them occurred during the Vietnam War. Are we getting a hint of what this means?
Oh, no.
And so now in the 2000s, there was 2017, and now this one in 2024, and it's like a bullseye, forms an X right over the United States. Now, here's what's amazing. Of those 8, only one, which was the one 7 years ago, it only crossed the United States and no other country. The other ones crossed Mexico and Canada and US or something like that. But the United States was singled out with
Just
the one
one.
7 years ago.
Yes.
Once.
Wow.
And now we have April 8th on Nisan 1. That Nisan 1 is the same day the glory of God fell. It's the same day of the inauguration ceremony of Moses' tabernacle. Okay, this is when this eclipse crosses these 2 places in the United States. And it's definitely, God wants to communicate with us. People have to understand, God wants to communicate. These eclipses are communications directly from God warning us of what's coming.
I mean, this is, without a question, a biblical sign. I was telling people earlier that, you got the solar eclipses. That's God made. When you have a lunar eclipse or a blood moon that you were so famous in bringing forward, that's a God sign. There's 2 different types of locusts coming, we know that. There's all of these signs that are coming right now are all God signs. They're not man-made, not man-manipulated. It isn't Y2K.
Right.
Okay. It's not the Mayan calendar.
Right.
It's not Harold Camping predicting the rapture, all of which man-made and failed. These are God's signs. You can't run from these. These are biblical, right?
That's the whole point. See, the problem is the church is on the wrong calendar because our regular calendar is based only on the sun.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
And Iran uses the same calendar we do. Okay. Then you have the Muslim calendar, which is only based on the moon. Now they're both scientifically accurate, but they're not the one God uses. Like if I'm meeting with you, we have a 2 or 3 hour time difference.
Right.
If we're going to meet, we got to agree on what time.
Right.
God is the master of time. And if you're a slave, who controls your time? The master. The master he tells you when to go to bed, when to get up, when to do this. God, the first commandment, most people don't realize, the very first commandment wasn't given on Mount Sinai. The very first commandment was given in Egypt, and it was get on my calendar. Nisan 1 is the first day. He wants his people on his calendar. Well, in Genesis 1:14, it says, let them determine the times. Not let the sun, not let the moon. But the reason why, you can only have a solar eclipse on a new moon. You can only have a lunar eclipse on a full moon. That's true. So that's why he says, okay, your months are based on the new moon. This way I can communicate with you. Yep. Okay. Passover and Sukkot are on a full moon, so I can communicate with you.
Because it's the appointed times. Appointed times.
Exactly. It's
everyone was distracted by P. Diddy, which is something major and big and plays a huge part in what's happening and going on. Let me say this. Joe Biden said if he has to step down, he wants Barack Obama to step forward. Because
like how, though?
and Joe Biden has a weird bromance. Remember, Barack Obama already did 2 terms. He can't get reelected again. Trump did 1 term. If Obama takes the seat at any time before election, or somehow Trump can't be reelected, somehow, some way, some magically mysterious, and Barack Obama takes position, you already know what the hell time it is. Period. The solar eclipse is on April 8th. They want to match the energy that is about to transpire. And they feel Barack Obama is the best way to go. Oh man, we in some shit right now. We are in some shit right now, man. We are in some shit right now. Major things is happening. There's a reason why there's so much big, huge distractions going on. Election is coming up. Solar eclipse is coming up. Did y'all not see what's going on in Israel? Okay? Israel looking to come at the United States. Everybody is about to turn on Israel, the United States, everyone. Oh my gosh. Y'all better get ready and buckle y'all seats. Heading towards election April 8th going forward. Be on the lookout. Don't go to work that day, I said. School is not going to be open that day. I'm telling you for a reason, and they telling you to be aware of demon face syndrome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
You're about to see what's going to happen. Buckle your seatbelts and stay prayed up.
The solar eclipse on April the 8th, 2024. It seems as if now everyone knows about it. They got a breakdown for it. They know what's going to happen. But we know the world is under a delusion. Truly, they don't know what is going to happen. They don't know what's going on. Only a few, all right? And we know that judgment is coming, not just to America, but the world, okay? Because many are under false doctrine as if America is going to be destroyed. And we're going to see that this sign means something different from what the world believes. We already know that the eclipse from 2017, the one that is approaching, is going to make an X across the United States. Now, it's said that this X is located near the town of Carbondale, Illinois. And this little section is also called Little Egypt. Why is that important? Because we know from Revelation 13 that the world is going to worship and wander after the first beast. And the first beast was Pharaoh. He was the first beast to reign over the children of Israel. Now, if you continue on the path of this eclipse, it's said to cross over 8 towns called Nineveh. Why is that important? Because many are connecting that to Jonah, but I'm going to show you something different. Jasher chapter 81, verse 40. And when the children of Israel had entered the sea, the Egyptians came after them. And the waters of the sea resumed upon them, and they all sank in the water. And not one man was left excepting Pharaoh, who gave thanks to Yahuwah and believed in him. Therefore, Yahuwah did not cause him to perish at that time with the Egyptians. And Yahuwah ordered an angel to take him from amongst the Egyptians, who cast him upon the land of Nineveh. And he reigned over it for a long time. Hopefully now it's starting to make sense, because this is a sign that the beast is coming to reign from America over the whole world, because Daniel chapter 7 verse 23 says that America is the beast kingdom. Passing over Nineveh 8 times also is symbolic of something, because we know from Revelation that the 8th beast is coming, who was also the 7th beast, who was also the first beast. And the Most High makes it so easy for us to determine who the beast is, because we know that Pharaoh was the seed of Ham, and there has only been one U.S. president that is of the seed of Ham. So his number is number 44, and that also equals 8. And this is the judgment on the nations for what they have done to the children of Israel. That judgment is written in Joel chapter 3, verse 8. That is, they're going to be given over to the Sabians, the one who is coming. And this also connects to moon god worship. And we know who worships the moon. This is their leader.
What? The National Guard will be deployed for total solar eclipse on April 8th. Why? Why does the National Guard need to be deployed for a solar eclipse? What's so concerning? I mean, all right, you had me a little with the keeping the kids away from school. I was like, why would you do that? It's only a solar eclipse, but whatever, okay. And now the National Guard needs to be deployed. And you know, on top of that, what's the deal with stocking up on food and making sure your batteries are all charged? Like, what do they think is gonna happen during this solar eclipse? I mean, I thought it was just the moon goes in front of the sun, it gets a little dark and everything is fine. I don't understand why we need the National Guard, why we need to shut down schools, why we need to stock on supplies, and why do we need our batteries fully charged for an eclipse? What the hell's going on?
What is up with this? Why are schools closing for a solar eclipse? We had one back in 2016, 2017. No school shut down. They just took an hour and went outside and watched it. And they handed out glasses and all kinds of stuff. Why are they closing schools? Texas, Ohio, I'm sure North Carolina's probably going to close school but it begs to question, do they know something that we don't know? And are they preparing because they expect something to happen? Or are they going to be the reason something happens? Those of you that have time to investigate, dig into this a little bit more. Let me know what you come up with. I don't have time because I got to go to work. But I would be interested to see what everybody has to say, because this just doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, this is just bizarre. Anyway, have a good day.
Another planet, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode and doesn't work and can never predict what's going to happen next. But if you go out tonight with all the billions of stars in our galaxy and all the planets and moons and everything, check them out where they are at a certain time tonight. Next year, same night, same time, even though we're billions of miles away, corkscrewing through space, nothing changes. Every single star will be in the exact same position. The chances of a moon and a sun 400 times bigger, 400 times farther, eclipsing each other perfectly is 1 in infinity, okay? And they happen all the time. And after that, did you know that eclipses, the cycle of eclipses, repeat every 18 years? Every 18 years, they do the same thing again and again and again. That's impossible in a beehive gravitational bullshit model.
Solar eclipses keep on getting weirder. Texas County declares a state of emergency ahead of total solar eclipse. Ohio is spending $1 million on eclipse security for 2024. What is it for? What these articles are stating is that through the path of totality, population is going to at least double, with tourist population of people from outside of town coming into town to view this total solar eclipse. Both in Texas and Ohio, certain counties have said that their populations are going to double from 400,000 to 800,000 folks. Schools across U.S. give day off for 2024 solar eclipse. This was reported 3 months ago, but we've been hearing this news since November last year. Not only if you can't catch the show from the ground, I got something for you for the air. Delta Airlines, amongst other airlines, I'll fill you in, wants to fly you through the 2024 total solar eclipse from 30,000 feet in the air. But unfortunately, all of these flights were sold out within the hour. For my numerologist enthusiasts, this flight is Airbus A220-300. Do not fret, because if you got $1,000, you can afford these $1,000 plane tickets for 30 hours of travel, all to see 4 minutes of the total solar eclipse from a window seat. How about that? The vibe for April 8th is no school. Some states are declaring a state of emergency. You can catch a flight and watch this total solar eclipse. First time in my life that I ever heard about that. But when you take into account esoteric knowledge, First Nations knowledge, occult knowledge, spiritual knowledge, when you take into account what the total solar eclipse is and the possibilities during it, I don't think you'll be like moths to the light, if you know what I'm saying. I think you'll take a little bit more precaution because this is a time for change, but it's a good time. So stay vibrating high. I'll catch you next time. Make sure you get your receipt. If you watched this far, get your receipt, like, save, and follow.
3 days of darkness, let me tell you everything that I know, and Lord knows I do not want to make this video. I don't like to speculate, and I'm not given to internet conspiracy theories, but I have something that I have to tell you. I do see something here. I've been seeing it here for a long time. It's time to come clean. I moved my family out of Alaska because of a gut feeling. Wasn't the only reason, it was just the first one that caused me to look for all the rest. Maybe it's silly, maybe none of this is true, but it bothered me so bad that I moved my family out of Alaska. This article was ran by Forbes over 6 years ago and can only help you speculate. This is the Edgar Cayce map, a clairvoyant communing with demons to see the future. Potentially total garbage. Only I don't think it is. Because this makes some kind of sense to me that I cannot explain. Now, until very recently, and I mean this month, I did not know that there was a correlation between total solar eclipses and devastating earthquakes. And now that I do, the plot is getting real thick, fam. In September of 1811, a total solar eclipse took this path through the United States. And in December of 1811, the New Madrid fault line popped off in a series of devastating earthquakes that lasted all the way through into January. Now, the scientists say there is increased earthquake activity in the face of new moons, a new moon being required for a total solar eclipse. There is a scientific correlation there that seems to have everything to do with causation. But it was 3 months after the eclipse. What's your point? If a barge goes under a bridge and hits one of the supports and damages it, there might be 2,000 vehicles roll over the bridge before it gives out, is what I'm saying. So that the new moon of a solar eclipse is like a barge passing under a bridge and hitting one of the supports. This is the path the total solar eclipse took in July 1963. Funny thing, it passed right through Talkeetna, Alaska, where my family and I lived, long before we were born. And then in March of 1964, a devastating earthquake tore Anchorage all to pieces. Solar eclipse is not an instant trigger, it's more like a fatal wound to the fault line. Doesn't mean there's going to be a terrible earthquake after every total solar eclipse, but every total solar eclipse affects the fault lines they pass over because of that new moon, scientifically. Whether I explain these events spiritually or physically, they are true both ways. It is the spiritual producing the physical. After the total solar eclipse of 1811, there was a series of devastating earthquakes, followed by years of decline straight into the Great Depression. Followed by the Great Depression, did you hear? Do total solar eclipses just mean earthquakes? No. They affect more than just fault lines. They warn of much more than just earthquakes. Look, if I could make this stuff up out of my own mind, I'd be God. Get it? But instead, look at us little bitty babies just learning about his creation, don't even know how it works. So, Rutro, what the stink is that converging right over top of the New Madrid fault? I mean, can you say X marks the spot? What is going on there? This is the path of the solar eclipse from August 21st of 2017. Well, nothing happened after that one, did it? It didn't warn of anything at all. Y'all forget about COVID and every single thing that has happened to our country since then? That wasn't enough to get your attention, get your minds right? Well, this is the path of that solar eclipse that's about to happen on April 8th. And the very spot where it crosses the path of the last one is the New Madrid fault line. Y'all don't see that right there? If you do not believe in God and only believe in science, that right there is alarming, bruh. And I mean, call the National Guard. See if they can stop it. Time for a Bible punch in the mouth. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Y'all think that's a random coincidence? This is the scientific prediction should that fault line pop off. Should that New Madrid fault line pop off right there, this is the prognosticator's view of what the future topography of the United States of America is going to look like. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen at all, only that it would make great and terrible sense to me if it did. I am no authority on this subject as far as men are concerned. I got 2 years of videos you can scroll though and decide for yourself whether I have authority and where it might be from. And still, that's not to say that this is true or false. Only that it makes sense to me, but who am I? The scientists have no authority whatsoever to tell us how it's actually going to happen, and neither do I know exactly how it's going to play out in the details. We are all speculating on what exactly it's going to be. It is God who is in control of what it will be. But He gave us plenty of potential to consider in the face of world history. In March of 2011, a 9.1 undersea megathrust earthquake occurred in the Pacific Ocean, 72 miles off the coast of Japan. In July of 2010, there was a total solar eclipse that passed over the Pacific. Why would this affect Japan at all? Oh snap, this is the Ring of Fire, and that total solar eclipse went exactly this way. And that megathrust earthquake hit Japan this way. Oh, there's a pattern, a recurring series of events here. A pattern I did not know when I got the gut feeling to move my family out of Alaska. Not that that counts for anything. Except with me, I trust my gut. Did you know if they knew all the variables, they could predict all of the earthquakes too? It's on a schedule. What's funny is when I made that first Sign of Jonah video, I wasn't thinking about any of this at all. Not considering this as a potential for anything, I was thinking World War III is on our doorstep, you know, and it is. The economy goes down, maybe a new round of disease, which thing is pestilence. Oh snap, if pestilence followed the 2017 eclipse, is there some way to know where we are on the timeline of what it means, what eclipses mean, or what's following them specifically, each one? Probably, I haven't looked at that yet, but I'm pretty sure, you'd find it. 'Cause wouldn't that make sense? 3 days of darkness, as we're all hearing about it, is based on a false private prophecy wherein in 3 days of darkness, the Catholic Church's enemies will all be destroyed. And that might sound good on the surface, but they got that whole idea from the Bible to begin with, and men have been making false prophecies out of stuff they got in the Bible this whole time. Internet conspiracies also need not apply, because they're so chock full of disinformation, it's hard to sort it out, 3 days of darkness was one of the plagues that descended on Egypt during the Exodus. Precluding the Exodus. Does that mean we're about to get an Exodus? I stinking hope so, I really do. Does it mean we're gonna get a revival? Well man, that's what I would surely love.
2024 is gonna be very chaotic. It's gonna be weird. There's some weird movies coming out. How many of you guys saw the recent movie, Leave the World Behind? Anybody saw that movie there? Oh, okay, yeah, all these, am I watching a movie or is this a documentary realistic thing? And then I'm seeing Mark Zuckerberg just spent $100 million building a house in Hawaii with a nuclear bunker. What does he know that the rest of the world doesn't know about? Talk about the timing. Oh, accidentally, coincidentally, a week after that movie comes out, a new movie comes out. What's the name of that movie? Civil War. Leave the world behind. Our power grid in America hasn't been updated. 75% of it hasn't been updated in 50 years. And you're kind of talking about that. Then you're pitting whites against blacks. There's a line in the movie that says, Dad, if something goes down, we can't trust these white people. I know that's something both you and Mom agree on. Why do you put that line in the movie, Barack? And you were helping with the script. Why would you put that in the movie? Why would you put that in the movie? Barack, weren't you the same guy that gave a talk at the DNC in 2004 about bringing people together? What happened to that guy?
Scientists and local officials of highly densely populated cities are telling people to prepare and stock up on fuel, food, and water to prepare for this solar eclipse that's supposed to happen on April 8th of 2024. You know what I meant. But yes, they are telling people that this solar eclipse that is going to be hitting some of the most densely populated cities in the U.S. is very, very different from the one in 2017. And I'm going to explain to you why they are telling people to prepare for this massive surge of people and overall festivities. EMAs, or emergency medical assistants are the ones that are telling people to stock up on food, fuel, and water ahead of the eclipse. And it says on April 8th, the day will turn into night for a once-in-a-lifetime eclipse. Although it's still more than a month away, a word of caution is being issued now by emergency management. Stock up on 3 days worth of food, fuel, and water. Why are they telling people to stock up on 3 days worth of food, fuel, and water for a 4-minute apocalypse? And the reason that they are giving is because they said it's going to be a massive influx of people in these largely densely populated areas, so that you should prepare for the infrastructure of these areas not to be able to handle the amount of people. Like, the roads will be packed. But my thing is, you are predicting 3 days worth of crowds. So this map illustrates the 2 different eclipses and the moon's path for each upcoming eclipse and how they will intertwine with each other. And if you just look at this and they just hit this perfect X at this one point in the map, something tells me the energy is going to be off the charts. In 2017, the last eclipse we had like this, the moon was a little bit further away from Earth than it will be during the upcoming total solar eclipse. And it's going to cause the path of that eclipse to be a little skinnier. So in 2017, the path ranged from about 62 to 71 miles wide. And during the one in April, the path over North America will range between 102 and 122 miles wide. Meaning at any given moment, this eclipse covers more ground than the one in 2017. And the 2024 eclipse path will also pass over more cities and densely populated areas than the 2017 path did. And this will make it easier for people to see in totality. An estimated 31.6 million people live in the path of totality this year, compared to only 12 million in 2017. And an additional 150 people live within 200 miles of the path of totality. In Jewish tradition, a total solar eclipse is a warning to the nations for a sign of the judgment of nations. Ancient Greece, the eclipse meant punishment and abandonment. And in the days leading up to an eclipse, they rounded up captivities to substitute for the king, hoping that the real king would escape the cosmic punishment. After the eclipse, they executed the captives as a cautionary protection. I'm about to blow your head, I'm not gonna lie. This is for the non-closed-minded people, the last part of this video. But it is also said that the total solar eclipse is what is called the judgment of the kings. And if you have been on any social media platform, you have heard Kanye talk about the hierarchy, or how things work in this world. At the top, who you have, who you don't have, and who you wouldn't want to be. He gives this drawn out explanation of how the world is run. And at the top you have God, and then you have the 1,000-year-old families, and then it goes down to the kings, the Pope, the Vatican, and then everyone underneath them, Hollywood for entertainment, and then the people at the bottom holding them up. So with this total solar eclipse, I believe that the people that are going to be judged are these 2 top tiers, which is the Pope and the people that have the longest lineage in the world, the 1,000-year-old people. Remember I told you that this is going to be happening 4/8/2024? There are 8 of the longest living families in the world. There are 8 of them. 2 + 2 + 4. We are in the year of the 8. This is happening on the 8th. And it's happening on the 4th month of the year of the 8. Think that's a coincidence? Along with the 8 longest living families. I bet you guys didn't know that each of these 8 families is said to have a curse. I'm going to do that in part 2 because...
Anyone else besides me, you find this a little weird? All of the stuff that they are telling us to do when it comes to this eclipse. What do they know that we don't know? They're telling us to get groceries. They're telling us to stock up on essentials. They're telling us to have cash on hand just in case. So what exactly do they know that we don't know? That first photo that you seen was a news station in Arkansas. This one that you're seeing on screen is from a place in Ohio. So what exactly do they know is coming? What are they not telling us? This is some strange stuff indeed. You tell me what you think about all of this. They're even saying possible gas shortages. Very strange stuff is happening. Some strange things are definitely ahead. Be ready and be prepared because you never know what's coming next.
I'm telling you right now, something is not right about this eclipse. This is the path that it will take, and it will cross over with the eclipse that we had in 2017, making an X on the country. Now, right there in the crosshairs, right there, is a town called Maconda, Illinois. Let's talk about it. So this is a better look at the direct path of totality that the solar eclipse will take. Right there by Carbondale, where the X meets, is Maconda. Just as a fun fact for Shiggles, this has never happened in the United States. We have never had two solar eclipse paths cross over on one town. So this is a pretty big fucking deal. Maconda really isn't that big of a deal. It has a population of like 500 people, and it's known as a hippie town in Illinois. Now, what I did find interesting is that there is a giant city-state park inside of Maconda. Are we waking up giants? Now, Maconda translated to South African means little ones. Are we the little ones and they're the big ones coming when the eclipse happens? Now, maybe I'm wilding out. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe there's nothing to this. But if I am just wilding out and there is nothing to this, why have they already predicted a historical chance of cloud coverage on the day of the solar eclipse? Since when do they predict cloud coverage 2 months in advance? That shit's suspicious. The fact that this hasn't ever happened before is suspicious. The fact that there is a giant city-state park right outside Sewanee National Forest, which is known for Bigfoot sightings, is suspicious. So are the clouds a attempt to hide the eclipse from us so that we don't see what happens in the shadows? Because let me remind you, this total solar eclipse will last for 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Can someone explain to me why there are 4 moons in Tampa, Florida? Look at this, you guys. What the hell? And then there's a ship up there. There are 4 moons in Tampa, Florida, and hey, I slowed it down for y'all. Look. There's 1. Here's the real moon, or what we think is the moon. That's 2 and 3, 4, and then that ship that's just up there, y'all. What? Y'all see, this is Tampa, Florida. Here's the thing right there, y'all. Look at this. This is crazy. This is me zooming into it. But man, what is that? What do you guys think it is? That should look crazy. So we see the 4 moons plus this thing up here. So weird. What do you guys think it is?
This is the thing that they're saying. They're telling you that the sun will be in Aries and there'll be eclipse in Aries. That's not true. Sun ain't going into no Aries. It's going back into Aquarius. New age, baby. That's what you don't know. and free flat earth, that means the earth's gonna stop too. That's what people don't realize. The earth will stop. And if you don't get this fruits and flowers offering done, hey man, I'm going to get mine done. I done did mine on the Serpent Mound 2 days ago. Now, and we did the whole joint. We wrapped it around the planet. We wrapped it around the planet. We wrapped that joint around the planet. Shout out to the Atlantean people around the planet, because we are all over the place. We ain't just in that line. It's a line. Most of us, this is our nucleus of where our people are in that line. But some of the people from around the world are, you showed your Atlantean spirit, and you showed what you here to do. We're dead serious. This ain't no game. This ain't game. No game to none of us. You think that you're gonna fight a dark energy with a dark energy? Cool, man. You go ahead and do that, man. I know what I'm doing right now. We're waking up the planet, and it is working. See, our age is coming in. Put an earth in the chat if the age is coming in. Put an earth in the chat if the earth stood still for like a week last year. Huh? Put an earth in the chat if it did that. I don't know. Maybe we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and now maybe we starting to see really what it really is. We put that thing to a screeching halt. Stop the presses.
We don't wait for no eclipses that they put on their TV and they try to put into this algorithm, trying to throw off what we're doing. We know what we're.
The other cuckoo yip yap? Oh, here's one.
Great plan. Texas Red Angus, flying them 7,000 miles to Israel. Many evangelicals believe these red heifers will usher Christ's second coming. Ceremony could take place any day.
Rapture isn't coming. There haven't been any ominous signs.